Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As you will have seen from the programme, this is working, yes. The title of my talk is billed as Safety in Numbers, and I didn't actually suggest that, but I thought it was rather catchy, so I kept with it. And it has some bearing on what I'm saying, but the topic is more perhaps accurately described as the need for greater professionalism in project management. And my presentation is really going to cover three main topics. First of all, the crucial importance of improving project management, the urgent need for greater professionalism and what that means, and why it is important to belong to a professional project management organisation such as the APM. Sorry, going backwards. Right, now I've got the knack of the machine. First of all, project management, of course, has been around, or rather projects have been around since virtually the dawn of civilization, thinking about pyramids and Stonehenge and so forth. But what we often don't realise is that many of them took extraordinarily long periods of time to carry out, and enormous resources to complete. So by the standards of modern project management, if we'd been living at the time, we might have not been so convinced that they were great successes. But of course, many of them have stood the test of time. In fact, there are today something like 250,000, we estimate, people who are engaged full-time in project management in the United Kingdom. About the same number as lawyers and accountants, by the way. However, sadly, only a relatively small proportion, less than one in 10, belong to a professional organisation which specialises, which is focused on project management. And in fact, most project managers, or people who are involved in project management in one form or another, are really amateurs in the sense that, if you like, the television programme, of course, demonstrates by having a number of would-be apprentices electing or choosing themselves to be project managers for the particular exercises set on the programme. And the poor hapless candidates often finding that they are falling down on their project management, which is not surprising, of course, because in many cases they don't really understand what project management really means, and they certainly have not any of the skills required in order to carry it out effectively. And of course, also the programme, apart from introducing the notion of project management, introduces very much the concept of blame, the idea that it's largely about failure to achieve success rather than the one individual who finally goes through as the selected apprentice. So another problem that I think we often have, particularly in the media view of projects, that projects are disasters waiting to happen, when in fact, of course, many projects, especially if they're carried out professionally, are extremely successful. And you can think of the Emirates Stadium and the Channel Tunnel rail link, now called High Speed 1, both of which are examples of very successful projects. Project management, in the sense of being a systematic, organised approach to managing changes, is really quite new. It's only about 50 or 60 years old. And initially it was largely about techniques, critical path scheduling, PERT, called by various names. And then gradually it became more concerned with process and resources, things. And now it's much more mature and holistic, and it tends to focus on people, leadership, relationships, communications. And it doesn't just include the project manager or the specialist members of the project management team, the planner, the cost manager, the systems integrator, or whatever other specific roles they've got. It also includes the sponsor who's accountable for the investment involved in a project, and the user or operator of the final asset that is created by the project. And indeed, I think the point to note is that there is a huge difference in performance between good professional project managers and amateur project managers, people who are given the title, given the role, but don't really understand it or how to carry it out. Now, every one of us in construction, everyone who's in construction or involved in construction, whether they realize it or not, are in project management. And the fact that so few of people who are in the field of project management, so-called, are really professionally trained or a member of a professional organization does mean that there's a huge opportunity to convert many amateur project managers into truly professional ones. And it may seem a far-fetched idea, but actually there is no reason why we shouldn't have a wholly successful project every single time. And I'll just give a quick explanation of that. In the car industry, for example, which I was in before I set up my own company, we used to try to minimize defects at the end of the assembly line. And then somebody realized that we couldn't afford to have any. And that thought and the determination to sort it out meant that we basically eliminated defects before they got to assembly by organizing and improving the performance of the supply chain. And we can do the same thing in project management, and particularly in construction. So I think the first point is what I keep going on about professionals. What do I really mean by a professional in this context? Well, if you think about it, professionals have got a number of characteristics. For example, they have relevant expert knowledge. They have qualifications that are relevant to their profession. They have skills that they've developed by applying that knowledge. They are committed to update and maintain that skill set. They are very keen to perform consistently good work, good quality work. They have a strong code of ethics and behavior and a duty to the client. They have a positive attitude to their profession, and they are very proud of it, generally. They are regarded as people who require little or no supervision, and they belong to a relevant professional organisation. And in Britain, that's often characterised by a royal charter being applied to that profession. Now, why do we need it? Well, I won't go into great depth here, because just think about, for example, would you want to be treated by a doctor who was not a professional in the medical field? What difference does it make? Well, clearly, it would greatly improve, if people were more professional in general in project management, the success of projects, the confidence with which we could expect projects to deliver successful outcomes. And who should be a professional in this sense? Well, everybody who's involved in project management should seek to develop at least some degree of professionalism. Why join a professional body such as the APM? Well, first of all, as I've just explained, it is a prerequisite for being a professional, to belong to a body such as that, which is focused on establishing and enhancing the standards of project management. It gives the opportunity to meet fellow professionals and to share in the knowledge and experience that each of them has. It establishes professional standards and a discipline in order to ensure that anyone who falls short of those standards is likely to find themselves not encouraged to remain within the organisation. And it recognises competencies. It gives recognition to competencies in the area, such that employers and clients can feel more confident that the people that they are engaging are going to perform well in project management. And it also involves continuing professional development.